Hello and welcome back in the question and answer session concerning the so important topic of safety regulations for the next weeks and months in Austria and of course for the upcoming winter season. We have collected a lot of questions in our chat and we will answer these questions now together with the experts. Welcome Florian Felder. Florian is Head of Strategy and Development of Schloss Chambrun Palace, one of the most famous sites, of course, of the world. Welcome virtually Matthias Schattleitner. He is the Director of Schladming-Dachstein Tourism Marketing. Hi Matthias. And he is the newly appointed President of the BOETM, which is the Federal Association of Austrian Tourism Managers. Welcome, Markus Redl. Markus Redl is an active committee member for the Austrian Cable Car Association. He also serves as CEO for the state-owned Lower Austrian Mountain Resorts. And welcome Markus Burscher from the Ministry of Tourism. Markus is responsible for an internationally unique project that Austria is implementing, the project of regular preventive testing for employees in hotels and restaurants, and soon also for ski instructors. So welcome to all of you, and thank you for the virtual guests who gave us a lot of questions in the chat. And I would like to start with Matthias. The first question is, to what extent are guests restricted during a winter vacation in Austria? That is the first question I would like to answer you.
The restrictions for the guest, what's the question?
To what extent are guests restricted during a winter vacation in Austria?
Okay, yeah, I think the winter vacation in Austria is always a good idea, but this winter is very special. So I think we have to fulfill some new regulations that we are safe in our destination and above all and for the customers and also for the companies. And yeah, there are few rules to accept. And in the winter tourism, it's easy because only two rules. The first is to wear a face mask, and the second is the social distancing. And the whole product or the whole partners in our destination, from the cable cars to ski schools and ski rentals, have their own concepts to prepare the best possible security regulations. And one thing is that, for example, the cable cars are the most frequented thing in our destination. They have special people, they have hired a lot of people more to keep the social distance in the waiting area, for example, or to clean the gondolas. And I think the partners do a lot of things to prepare a holiday or a good holiday possibility in our country, in our destination, and the guests have to be safe, and so we do our best that it will be safe for the customer.
Additionally, we all have websites where everybody can find the information needed, and we are monitoring new rules, new regulations every day, so everybody can be sure that the current situation is available on the website, for example, on the Austria info on the website of the National Tourist Information. Markus, one question to you. How and where can one get information about the current situation and about the preventive testing project you are responsible for?
Yeah, first of all, I would stress out what you said, what you mentioned, the websites, the official ones, especially the one from the Foreign Ministry in terms of regulations to the destination. And then secondly, you mentioned it as well, the websites of the hotels and the websites of the regions as well are very good. And yeah, for the COVID prevent test screening program, it's mainly for Austrian employees, so it's a German one. It's Österreichs GV, where every information is put on, and of course Sichere Gastfreundschaft, which is also the main website for every secure information about destination management.
So, and if any other country is interested in the project, you are the person who will know all the answers.
Yes, of course. You might, might an email or just drop a line. We will handle this.
Okay. You wanted to mention concerning the information? No, all is said about that issue. Yeah, okay, so I will come to the next question. Where can I find out whether any entry regulations exist for my own country, and if so, which ones? Is the question to Matthias again, and I would like to point out the official information on the Austria info to that issue too.
Yeah, that's right. I think the official information about the travel regulations to our country, to Austria, is easily found on every website of the national government the guest is from, or also the website of austria.info, and also maybe the Austrian government has the information on the site. The thing is that the whole regulations are changing very fast, or can change very fast. So we recommend to make travel insurance, cancellation insurance additional this year, especially because the changing of the situation is very fast sometimes. And on our own websites, we all have the information on Corona regulations and Corona things we do for our guests. And there's also the thing about the cancellation. If you have to cancel the trip because of there's a travel regulation, normally, and the most of hotels and apartments are part of this initiative, is like these hotels accept free cancellation if, for example, you are from Denmark or from Sweden and you are not allowed to come to Austria, then normally there is the possibility to have a free cancellation in this in our area, because we know that's very difficult to know what's up in 2 or 3 months or in 1-2 weeks. And this is the situation which we have to be very flexible, and all our partners and hotels are very flexible in this way to give the customer and the guests some more insurance and some more good feeling to book at this time where the next month and weeks are very insecure.
Yeah, it's all about orientation, clearly in a situation like that. So, and there are many questions concerning the upcoming winter season. And I would like to start with you, Markus. It's about the question, will ski openings and ski races take place this year?
Not as they used to. So it's going to be a completely different story, a completely different picture. Most ski resorts will not have an extra event with a huge ski opening. By the way, it also wouldn't be allowed by law. The current COVID-19 rules and regulations do not allow for events like that. So what you might have is other forms of celebrating the start of the winter season, the ski season, obviously. Last weekend demonstrated with the FIS races up on the glacier at Sölden that ski races, competitive ski racing is possible. There are other events coming up at the same world class elite level. Lechzürs will follow up in November. We will host the Semmering races just before New Year's. So there are a lot of races coming up, but most of them will not allow for spectators, for an audience, as we've been used to it. Yeah? So for each and every event, there will be a safety concept, and it's a changing and it's an ongoing process, a changing environment. So we will have to wait how the whole competitive skiing season develops. But as a general rule, you can say that you will not have a lot of spectators at the events this year.
Yeah, Austria is famous for its ski races, but also for its Christkindl markets. Florian, I would like to come to you with that question. Will the Christkindl market in front of the Schloss Chambrun Palace take place this year?
Yes. if you ask me today is October 21st. Yes, it will be open from November 21st to December 26th. Of course, also there is a safety concept. It involves a one-way system. It involves additional tables, additional staff to make sure people keep the distance. So there are special measures taking place, but there will be a market.
From the
21st, November
21st of
21st.
November.
Right.
Okay, okay, very good. Thank you very much. Mr. Redl, a question from Romania. Can winter holidays in Austria 2020-21 can take place or not? Sorry, again, the question. Can winter holidays in Austria 2020-21 be relaxing, inspiring, and fun at all, considering the COVID-19 problems we have?
Totally.
Totally.
100%. I mean, of course, you would have to wear a mask and keep the social distance, just the basic rules. But, you know, skiing is skiing, and spending time with your family and enjoying a good meal up on the mountain hut will be the same quality experience that you're used to.
Yeah. Okay, and another winter question, certainly, because that is the topic, most important topic now for Austria. Matthias, are ice rinks open?
Ice rinks? What do you mean with ice rinks?
Where you can where you can skate. Yeah, skate.
Skate, ice skating. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, and also, I don't know, in Schladming-Dachstein we have two small ice skating places. They are open for sure, yeah, because you have easily to fulfill the restrictions. You have place, you have more nose protection. I think we have to think winter tourism a little bit easier, because a lot of questions are coming, is it possible or not? And yes, we can say it's possible, because it's the same. Then you take at home a bus, or you take an underground, you go for shopping, you go maybe in a restaurant for lunch or for dinner. Same is in your country, same is in Austria. And if you have a setting where you have enough social distance, it's easy, because then you have the distance, and in the fresh air, it's more easier, because we saw in the summer season, and there are a lot of studies that in the fresh air, there are nearly no corona clusters which are known. So in the fresh air, outdoor is safe. That's also the reason why activities like skiing, like ice skating, or also cross-country tracks, winter hikes, toboggan run, and so on, all the lovely winter sports we all like to do every day in the Alps, yeah, they are safe, because you have enough space, you have enough distance to the other persons. And if you have settings, they are not so big, like you sit in a gondola. In all these settings, you have to wear the face mask, the protection, and you're also safe again, because the face mask is the reason to wear it is to prevent to exchange your aerosols and so. So finally, everything outdoor is safe, and if you are not outdoor, we have indoor situations. We have to wear the mask and fulfill the safety regulations. Then it is a safe trip to Austria, or a safe trip to Schladming-Dachstein.
So everything is possible, but under special conditions this year, to sum it up.
Yes, definitely. Yes,
okay,
definitely.
Okay. Coming back in the city, to the city, a question to Florian. Are bus tours allowed to visit Chambrun Palace this year?
As far as I know, the buses are considered as public transport, so it is possible to fill a bus and take this bus to any place. Once you're at Chambrun, you have to split up, because the group size is limited at 5 person per group, including a guide, a plus a guide, so it's 6 in total. So if you come with the bus and manage to do this, then you have to split up the group once entering the palace. You would have to do the same when going in one of our restaurants or cafes. So also there is the limit per table is 6. So coming to the palace is fine, as you would do with the subway, for example. But then entering the palace, you would have to split up in smaller groups.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Markus, coming back to you, who is getting tested is the question in course of the program, and only hotel employees?
Not only in hotels, but only restaurants, cafes, if they are open bars. Yeah, it's very important because those target groups are very often in contact with guests. So we provide the test them once a week, and yeah, normally once a week there is a change of guests. So yeah, we try our best to have a safe hospitality from that point of view, and yeah, spread over the tourism branch. So as I mentioned, food and beverage and hospitality employees.
So it's hotels, restaurants, private accommodation.
Yes, we extend our program we right now run, and we extend it with the 1st of November, so ready for the winter season. Also to private hosts, skiing instructors, mountain guides. So we try to cover most of the target groups which are in charge in winter. And we are working on a second concept concerning so-called rapid tests, which may be served by cable cars or like food markets, etc. So everybody who is in touch with a guest should be tested. That's what our aim is.
Yeah, and in total numbers, it's I think 5,000 companies are participating by today in the program?
Yeah. We have been started the program with 1st of July this year, and till now 5,000 companies or 350,000 tests have been made from approximately 80 to 90,000 singular employees. And as I said, we'll extend this.
Very good. Thank you. Matthias, a question from the Netherlands for you. Is it allowed to stay with more families or groups or friends in one house? And can groups still book?
Yeah, groups can still book. And if you have, for example, you have a chalet. Normally in a chalet you have 2 or 3 or 4 rooms. And there you have separate bathrooms, separate bedrooms, so it's easily to have your own room. At the moment, the regulations for this kind of tourism is like the last years. So you can use the chalet as one chalet, but I'm not sure how it is if you have 24 people in one house. Maybe another person in the podium can answer the question correctly, because I think if there are 24 people in one house, maybe it's difficult, but in smaller chalets for 10 or 8 people, I would say it's easy because there are 2 families and you have your own bathrooms, and yeah, but maybe one person in the podium has another information about that at the moment.
Yeah, Markus?
And there's no downgrade planned from capacity side, but the groups should know each other, so that there is, like in every other venue, there is no fluctuation of the virus possible.
Okay, and always wear the mask, yeah, and always keep the distance, yeah. Distance is very important now and for the next weeks and months. So Markus Redl, next question. What measures are taken to avoid crowds, especially in front of the lifts, the ticket offices and the ski huts?
When it comes to ski lifts, there are opportunities such as speeding up a little bit operation
gondolas and, yeah,
in order to increase the transport capacity, to have as many ski lifts open. And then, of course, it's about crowd management, queuing, structuring the whole process. But there might be a certain waiting period, and then it's really up to our guests that they keep the distance. Most of the times you will have indications on the floor, staff that will help you, so that should be all right. When it comes to ski huts, they're basically restaurants. I mean, the same rules and regulations apply to mountain huts as to any other kind of restaurant. So you will have to wear your face mask. When you enter the restaurant, you will be seated. And then, of course, you can take off the face mask in order to have your meal, to enjoy your meal. And there are also certain limitations in terms of the number of people who can sit at one table. As of today, it's 6 people. Yeah.
Okay.
And then there was another question.
No, I just wanted to ask, to be precisely, by queuing, you have to wear the mask, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to keep the distance, at least 1 meter. As long as you're wearing your skis, that should be fine. But there are other cues as well. So this is something that we have to work on. But this is something that we cannot do alone as lift operators. But there needs to be a certain
responsibility
cooperative
taken,
style, and we definitely need the compliance of our guests. In summer, our experiences were excellent. Winter is a different story because you have way more people, but I think we can handle it, and as the winter continues, we will get better and better together. Ski lift operators and guests are getting used to the new procedures.
And you have to wear the face mask in the gondola too.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. But not in the open lifts. There you have to keep
same story there.
Same story. Okay.
Whenever you are using a ski lift,
face mask, yes.
Is it a T-bar? Is it whatever? Huh? Is it a chairlift without the bubble? You still would have to wear the face mask.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a rule.
Okay. Marcus, a question from the Netherlands for you. What I have read is that all the ski areas are using the color scheme yellow, orange, red signals for the security measures, which can change every day. That is true. Is that still something that will take place this winter? And what are the measures within the ski area that are linked to each color?
Let me say, the color scheme, or in Austria we say the Ampel, shows two examples. First is Austria was really a role model in terms of prevention concepts, because Europe now comes close to the Ampel as well. And secondly, we have a very functional system concerning our regional measures. So I don't know the exact measures from green to red, but as in traffic, green is rather positive and red is rather negative. So it's locally screened how the measures were taken in special cases. And if there is a cluster, for example, of course the red light turns on, and then there will be taken several measures. But yeah, as we are prepared that well, I'm really convinced that we wouldn't have any red light, and we will inform guests and of course everybody who is in the region how to treat if the color scheme, which is set weekly, what measures have to be taken.
And is a tool for orientation, the Corona Ampel, it's called the Corona Ampel, and the Corona Ampel is available at the home website of the Health Ministry. And as you said, it's up to date. It's updated every week, once a week, I think on Friday.
Exactly, on Friday, and it's communicated by the local officials what to do. And yeah, as you said, it's a rather recommendation. But you know, as we live in a pandemic, we have to react very fast and efficient, of course. But on the other hand, Austria is a very diverse country, and we have several areas who are not even affected. So yeah, and I have to stress out what Mr. Schaltleitner said. Winter tourism is rather open space tourism, and you're recommended to live or to behave in open space, and so it's perfect to come to Austria. And yeah.
That is true. And the Ampel is not only responsible for winter tourism, but for every
situation in Austria.
Every situation we have, education system, health system, everything. Yeah. Florian, would like to come back to you. Another question: how are you staying in touch with the international event organizers, tour operators, and partners? And what questions do they ask? I think a very important thing nowadays is to stay connected, to inform each other about things that are going on in regions, destinations.
Yeah, we use platforms like these, virtual workshops and fairs. We did try some in-person live sales calls over the summer months in Austria, Germany, Slovakia. So we try to stay in touch in every channel. We're on the phone a lot, we write emails, and we try to give all the information we have. Of course, as my colleague said, this is very flexible, and the regulations and restrictions can change on a daily basis. So whatever question there might be, our partners are welcome to call us, write us an email. We'll help with the small things, even if they ask, are you open tomorrow? Is the group size still 6 or is it 4 or 20? We also help with the larger questions. Can I come next summer? We'll try to answer this. And of course, most questions are about cancellation policies. When will I be able to travel without restrictions? We can't answer this. We can help with cancellations. We found out that all the inquiries are at a very short notice, so people are not planning in advance very much. But they are planning. They are hoping to come back soon, next year, maybe in 2 years. So there are a lot of questions, a lot of talking. We use all the platforms we get. We're looking forward to next year. We hope there will be the ITB in Berlin. We're going to be there if it happens. If there is a live ATB, maybe next year we're going to be there.
So, but I think the discussion is going on at the moment,
So in whichever format it will happen, we will be there. We will use all the chances we get to get in touch and to stay in touch. And we see that there is also the need to talk.
Yeah, definitely. Like today and now, Another question for Markus. I think this preventive testing initiative is of great interest all around the world. How many employees roughly are getting tested at the moment, would you say? And as I understand, it's not a must for them. Yeah, it's not a must, but it's an offer. Yeah, is there a rough percentage you can tell us?
I can tell, of course. I will stick to this. First, let me say that we started this in July for the summer season, and it was really skeptical scene. But yeah, I think the best confirmation of such concept is the attendance. And roughly right now, 25% are being tested regularly. And I can only invite every Austrian company or employee to do so, because even for the personal feeling, it's better to know that I'm not infected. And yeah, the number is rising, and as I said, we extended, so it will go up. Moreover, hotels or bars or cafes, restaurants, companies can use a label being tested. So every single guest can inform before coming to Austria whether the hotel or the employees of the hotel or of the bar or of the restaurant they will attend is tested regularly or not. And that's yeah, kind of marketing tool as well. But yeah, we try to force the program to rise the number, of course.
So the label you talked about is called being tested for a guest who comes to Austria. this is the
exactly.
sign.
It stands for safety recommendations in general. Every hotel or every venue has many measures set, and those should be fronted, so to say, by a label. And one of the measures is to be tested, or that employees are being tested.
And gives the guest the information that the hotel or restaurant is part of the testing program.
Exactly, as well as it includes there are distance measures, hygiene measures, etc. So everything. It's in combination with the Austrian chamber. So yeah, it shows the ambitious efforts Austrian tourism industry sets.
As a responsible host, yeah. Okay, thank you. Markus, another question concerning rules in cable cars, gondolas and chairlifts. We talked about beforehand wearing face masks is a rule. Are there any other rules?
Well, there are two. Wearing a face mask is one. More specifically, it says that you have to wear a mechanical device covering your nose and mouth. So that is important.
So it's not a scarf?
Well, it could be a scarf.
Could be a scarf, okay.
Yeah. What we call in German a Schlauchschal, something you would use in bad weather for skiing. And you put this up, you're fine.
Okay.
And that applies to queuing, that applies definitely to using the T-bar, the chairlift, the gondola, whatsoever. The second rule is that you should keep distance, especially to people who you're not living with or traveling with. And the same rules as for mass transport apply, so that you should keep the distance, at least a 1 meter distance, whenever possible. So there might be specific situation, entering or an exceptionally high demand that allow for not keeping this 1 meter distance rule, but as a general principle, that's what we're looking for.
Okay. So face mask and distance, yeah, the two things. Okay. Matthias, coming back to you, a question for you. Is there a plan to minimize the number of people in ski buses?
Yes and no. There's no restrictions, I think, but we order some new buses to have a higher frequency of the buses to bring the guests from the ski bus station directly to the cable car company, because we experience in the summer season that if the bus is full and you are allowed to do more people in the bus, the people won't go in the full bus. So we decided to invest more money, that you have more buses, and then so we have more buses available. And if the bus is full, the next bus is coming immediately to pick up the people and bring it safe to the cable car company. So it's a question how we can fulfill the guests' expectations. And we want to be better than maybe settings in big cities, because if the underground, for example, is full, the next underground maybe is there in 10 minutes. But if the next is also full, what are we doing? In the areas, in the Alpine areas, we have a lot of space and we have more availabilities because it's easier to organize and to arrange. And I think the important thing is the first skiing holiday. The first guests coming in December or January in our ski resort, and they experience how it is, how it feels. Yeah, and I think they will experience a safe area. They will experience a real good impact for holiday, and then they will use the social networks to tell everyone about it. And then it's for all partners easier, because if one person is here and say it's good, then the other people are coming again. And we do all. And if you experience a setting, for example, in other areas or in other things where we have to improve the concept, then we are willing to do, because we all know that we have to do all things to make a safe trip possible.
Okay. Another question for you, Matthias. Austria is, of course, the leading nation in terms of skiing. Yeah, but this year, will there other winter activities be important this season besides skiing?
We know that, for example, in Germany, there is big groups of skiers. They like to go skiing, but the same numbers of guests are willing to make a winter romantic holiday. And if you are in a city where it's gray, there's a fog, and if you have the possibility to go in a country like Austria, where you have the snow and you have the fresh air, blue sky, the sun is shining, and you feel the fresh coldness air, it's real wow, wonderful. And for this, we are investing a lot of money this season. We are very flexible in this case. And we build up some new hiking trails in the mountains. We make, for example, fat biking. Biking on snow is very, very cool experience. We open up the toboggan runs daily. So we extend all services, which are not skiing, but nearly to winter sport, to offer a wide variety of products. And I think a lot of people will think about a trip to Austria, especially to Schladming-Dachstein, because it's new, and we experience the same in summer. We had a lot of guests in summer season. They are never before in an alpine destination. And some of them, they wouldn't have some hiking shoes. They bought it in the rental shop in the sport shop in Austria. But they are very happy. They were very happy because they experienced a new experience, and the mountains are great. And if you've never been on the top of the mountain or never felt this experience, this winter is perfect for the first winter holiday in Austria, because it's worth to give them a try, I would say.
I think we are coming, the four of us. Florian, back to you. Chambrun Palace, of course, has been one of Vienna's top attractions for years. And how are you doing now? I mean, normally there are thousands and thousands of guests attending Chambrun Palace now. It's a little bit less than normal.
Well, yes, it's not normal. We closed down from March to May. Then we opened again on May 15th. And of course, May and June were quite slow because it was mainly Austrian guests. July and August were pretty fine. Actually, they were better than we expected in our scenarios.
And international arrivals?
We did.
Yeah.
It was surprising because, fun story, when we opened up again, we thought, well, we have to concentrate on the Austrians, and there are going to be more Austrians than ever, and what can we do with them? And then we opened up on May 15th at 10 in the morning, and the first guests were from Germany. So there were 2 Germans living in Vienna, but still. And again, already in June, there were more international guests from Hungary, from Switzerland, from Italy, from Germany, of course. And July and August were doing fine. We were up at more than 4,000, 4,500 guests per day, which is still not normal. But
what is the normal number you have?
Well, 3 times this.
Yeah.
And especially because 2019 was a record year for us. And so at some point we stopped comparing numbers because it's just frustrating. And and with the new travel restrictions in September, of course, numbers went down again. We expected fall to be slower than the summer season, but still travel restrictions are a mess for us, of course. We pretty much depend on the international guests. We managed to double the number of Austrian guests, but still this is just a small number compared to international visitors. So right now we're focusing on the Christmas season. We hope that the markets can run and operate as planned. So this will help us a little bit also with the number of visitors in all our palaces. And then we focus on the next year. And of course, we do not expect it to be at the same level as it was before Corona. But still we expect an increase in the numbers, slow increase, and this is what we're working on. And of course, it's frustrating. We have the system, we have the staff. We're used to welcoming, as you said, thousands of guests a day from all over the world, and this is what we're here for. So, and this is what we want to do. And so it's kind of frustrating to have the small number of guests, but still we try to create the best possible experience for those coming. and to promise the best possible experience for those coming next year.
Yeah.
And so we're basically doing the best for those guests that come now, and we prepare to do the best for all the others that hopefully come back next year.
Also here, keep the contact. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Again, Matthias, for you, I mean, has been answered, but it's still coming up very often in the chat. Is the question, can people from different households stay in one mountain hut?
As we heard before, and thanks for Markus for the support, it's allowed because there's no downgrading of the capacity. And yeah, we have the chalet or big apartments do a big job to clean everything very clear and to be safe. And normally you have your own bathroom, you have your own bedroom, and it's the own responsibility of the guest to have social distance or to wear a face mask. I think this, I don't know the word in English, in Austria we call it Eigenverantwortung. Maybe someone can help, but it's in their own responsibility. Maybe it's the correct translation for that.
Thank you. A question from Poland. Please, could I see the question from Poland? Yeah, question from Poland. Markus, I'm coming to you with that question. I read somewhere that in some hotels it's good to present a negative COVID-19 test when checking in. What if someone is not able to present such a test? Is it possible to test on site? And if so, how much does it cost?
I think these days we can say every negative test is good to be done. So, well, there's no regulation. First, I recommend, in addition to Matthias, I recommend everybody before starting a holiday, maybe doing a test, because virus doesn't stop on the border, and we are in Europe or even from the world. If you go to plane, you have to make a test or can do a test. And secondly, of course, we provide in Austria through private laboratories tests. You have to differ between the PCR test, which costs approximately for private ones 100 euros, more or less, and the upcoming rapid antigen tests, which costs definitely less, but and they are faster, of course, but they're not so sensitive. So. Yeah, my recommendation is maybe make a test in your home country before starting your holiday. Then come to Austria, and yeah, it's not duty to have a test, but it's better being tested than not. And I think I'm sure that the hosts can arrange a test in the local region from a doctor or from a laboratory. And
if a guest has symptoms while on holidays in Austria, there is the official hotline, a so-called hotline 1450, where they should call. Isn't that the way to do?
Yes, indeed, and I think it's practical to phone or to call or to inform your host. And I think he will know what to do. But yes, the phone number, maybe we can say it. It's 1450 in Austria. So then you are connect to officials, and they guide you through the Corona management.
Service.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you know, every region in Austria has an ambulance, has a doctor. We are really well prepared for even influenza or broken leg or COVID. So, yeah, very well prepared in every terms.
Okay, so the best thing is to ask the host what to do, and he will know, and he will guide you. Okay. Good. Matthias, and Markus, yeah. I would like to start with you, Markus. The possibility for après-ski this winter. Is there the possibility for après-ski? And if yes, under which conditions? And are there already concrete concepts in progress?
Well, define après-ski.
Yeah, a new definition today.
I mean, the federal government came out 3 weeks ago and said there's going to be skiing in Austria, but no upper ski as we're being used to. And I think what the federal government meant was that you don't have a party situation. You don't have, lots of drinking, a lot of
Dancing.
loud music, dancing in close proximity to each other. I mean, common sense tells us that that's not going to be the case this winter in an upper ski situation or in other situations, unfortunately. So if you define upper ski as having a glass of beer or as Martha Schulz said this morning, a glass of Austrian white wine, a Grüner Veltliner, of course you can do that. Of course you can. There will be regulations in place for outdoor dining. So as of today, it says that you have to have your seat at the table for indoor dining, but starting November 1st, the federal government said there will be also regulations that you should have your seat at the table in an outdoor dining experience. But there will be some exceptions of this rule, for example, food trucks and things like that, because they quite honestly make sense. We want as many people being fed, dined, catered to in an outdoor environment, because that is the most safe place to be. So I think there will be a lot of innovation going on, and it's not going to be a business as usual, but it will still be a very enjoyable upper ski in the sense of after skiing experience.
Okay, thank you. Matthias, from your side, anything to add to this point of après-ski?
Maybe, yeah. Don't be afraid if the message is there is no après-ski, because this winter is special, and we know all about that the settings where the most dangerous situations have been or can be are in the nightclubs, can be discotheques, or also in après-ski, because if you are a crowd, you are together, loud and speaking, singing, and so on, it's a dangerous setting. And I think we are responsible to prohibit this thing, because we are responsible for the whole winter tourism sector, and après-ski is only a few percentage. Yeah? And I think, as Markus said, you can drink a good glass of beer, you can drink maybe 2 or 3 beers, or a good glass of wine. Yeah, so that's not a problem, but you have to sit on a table always, all the time, and maximum of 10 or 6 persons on a table. I think the message is you can have après-ski, but safe and not loud and on a table. Yeah? That's the point. And we have the setting, and I think it's possible, and give them a try, because maybe it's better than you expect, and maybe better than the last year if the whole bar was crowded. Maybe it's better this year.
That's true, yeah. I would like to stick with you, Matthias. Another question nobody knows: what will happen with the pandemic? Should I still book a winter vacation?
Yeah, definitely. What you're really doing. If you live in Germany, if you live in Czech Republic, in Hungary, in Poland, in Netherlands, winter is normally time where the people go abroad, because normally in Europe, the setting is not good. You have fog, it's gray. It's not like, you have to book a winter vacation, because it's good for your health to be in the fresh air. It's good for your mental strengthness to be on a holiday, to be in the mountains. You get power, it's good for them. And you have to take about some things about consideration. Yeah, if you're responsible for your own, and there are no clusters, or only very few clusters, which are detected on traveling abroad. Travel is safe. Yeah, if you can look back in the summer season, yeah, if you have the social distance and you have the mask worn in situations where the crowd is getting bigger, then you are safe. I think that's an important message, and don't forget the mental thing. If you stay at home all the time and you have 3 weeks on holiday and you're staying in your flat, in your house, and you're all day at home, I think it's healthier to go on holiday, and we do all things that the setting is safe for you. And yeah, for that reason, book and holiday. And a lot of destinations, including my destination, have some very free booking offers that you can cancel for free if there is a coronavirus thing. And yeah, we have to reduce the risk for your booking. But yes, book. Yes, go skiing.
We are well prepared in Austria.
Definitely.
Good. Another question from Romania. Yeah, it is very difficult to make plans. That is true, definitely. Clients don't know what to do in terms of booking. Is there any way to know what's coming in terms of regulations, Markus? Difficult questions, but we try to answer.
Yeah, honest question, no.
Yeah.
But I refer to Matthias. He's totally right. I can only recommend to book. There are several. Well, it was mentioned free possibility of cancellation, so there's no risk on booking. To be honest, we don't know how virus or how the pandemic is going to be in 2 weeks or in 2 months. We try our best to have to enable a safe holiday in Austria with the regulations we take. And yeah, of course, we inform via websites like you mentioned it, austria.info, the federal websites from Foreign Ministry, etc. And yeah, finally, as I mentioned before, call your host, call the region, ask what there is as preventive measures set or whatever, and they will inform you well. They are very, very well prepared. Thank you, in this case, to the regions in terms of Matthias. It's really impressive what they do.
Matthias, coming back to the booking situation, is it a question we have here? So can I cancel free of charge?
Normally in winter, the cancellation policies are very difficult because normally main season and the hotels have sometimes very restrictive cancellation policies. This winter we have all to be flexible. But you know, cancellation is always a thing a hotel decides for his own. Yeah. But we want to be clear, we want to be transparency, and we have, as I said before, an initiative like very free booking. The most hotels and apartments are part of this initiative. And here are the rules that you can cancel for free. For example, if you have a coronavirus or you have to be in quarantine, then you can cancel till the arrival day. If the country of origin has spoken out a travel warning for our destination or for Austria, you also can cancel for free. Or if the border is closed, you can cancel for free. And if, for example, we have a lockdown in Austria because there are no cable cars available or no hotels opened, you can also cancel for free. I would say 80% of the accommodations are part of this initiative in this area. I know also from other destinations they have similar initiatives, and there's also the possibility for the insurance, for the cancellation travel insurance. I would definitely recommend it because it's very low, it's cheap, yeah, and you are safe, and you can book easily without any thoughts.
Okay, so special circumstances with special solutions. Very good. Florian, another question concerning the Christmas markets. Will alcoholic beverages be served at the Christmas markets this year?
It's not the same at every market. In Chambrun, as of today, it's planned to also serve alcoholic beverages. I know, for example, in Graz, the Christmas market, they will also only have non-alcoholic beverages. So it's part of the specific market safety measures, whether they serve alcohol or not. Okay. In Vienna, in Chambrun, there will be alcoholic beverages.
And the hours, the opening hours, is there?
In Vienna, we start at 10 in the morning and it goes until 9 in the evening.
Yeah.
Which are the regular hours.
Is normal, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. I'm waiting for another question. I think we have some technical. Yeah, here we go. do we have to wear mouth and nose protection during a cable car ride? I think we had that, Markus, but could you just repeat it again? Because this is a very important issue.
Simple answer, yes, you do. You have to wear a mechanical device covering your mouth, your nose and mouth. That's the rule. And it starts when you queue to enter a lift station, for example, and extends to the whole period of riding the ski lift. Of course, for skiing, you can get rid of the face mask, but you know, most people now wear them all the time, and they're quite comfortable. I tested it for myself, and it's probably something that we're getting used to quickly.
Yeah, we are, because it's normal in Austria, like in the other countries, wearing the mask.
Yeah.
Okay, good, thank you. Germany, a question from Germany, from Markus Burscher. How long can restaurants stay open at night actually in Austria?
I'd say they will have. You will have enough time to spend a really delicious dinner. Today it differs from region to region, but I think it's 10 o'clock right now.
It's 10 o'clock now at the moment.
10 to 11.
10 to 11, yeah. For every region in Austria, that is sozusagen from today. Yeah.
Yes, exactly, from today.
Okay, from today. Okay. Good. Protection, we had the protection issue. Matthias, another question for you. The most important thing for this year is going to ski. What do I do to enter a ski hut? Do I have to book beforehand, or what's the regulation? What's the regulation for that?
Very good question. I think besides the skiing, the lunch in a ski hut is very important. We are working on some new issues here, that we have a safe regulation also here. A lot of ski huts this winter will the first time activate a reservation system. So you can reserve a table on the ski hut for a specific time, that you have to be sure that you have a table at your time you want to. And if you're going a ski hut, you have to wear the face mask, and the bigger ones have like a concierge at the entry to bring the persons to the table. Some destinations in Austria have also a registration system. Also, we are working on the registration system for winter season. So you have to register if you go to a ski hut, but we make an app that it's easy for you and easy to register, because if you always have to fill out a paper, it's maybe annoying a little bit. So we're working on a mobile app. You can check in and register very easily. Yeah, you go with the mask to the table. On the table, you don't need the mask. At the moment, the table size is 6 persons plus children. There are flexible times. Maybe they are changing up to 10, but I would say 6 persons plus children is very clear. And if you go to the toilet, you have to use the face mask again. Go to the toilet. The bars without the bar seat are not available, so it's not allowed to stand on the bar. But there are some bar seats. They are open and you can use for a drink on the bar. And the rules are easy. Face mask if you are standing around, and if you're sitting, you don't need a face mask, and you can enjoy a wonderful lunch or a wonderful dinner.
Thank you, Matthias. Question from UK we received is, what is the maximum group size, and does it include the tour guide? Florian, please, could you?
As of Friday, the day after tomorrow, it's going to be 6, including the tour guide, so it's 5 plus 1.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And Matthias, in restaurants is 6 plus 4 children, isn't that?
Plus children in their own household. If you have 10 children, then you have 60 persons. I don't know how many people have, families have 10 children, but yeah, that's the rule.
6 adults plus 4, maximum 4 children.
Okay, 4, okay. Okay.
Markus, coming back to you, Markus Burscher, if a guest is tested positive, is he allowed to return to his own home country?
I have to mention that I'm not the medicine expert, and we have to refer to the officials from the health ministry or from the health officials. But as I know, no, he has to stay in quarantine, and then maybe a local decision is made in order to drive him home or seeing how his illness is going to happen.
Yeah. And what happens if a hotel employee is tested positive?
It's the same. It's the same procedure. The laboratory informs the local officials in terms of health, and they decide what to do. Mostly, the infected person is detected, or he's took out of the regular run. Could be that several oncoming measures are set as well, but it decides on the local authorities.
But there is a precise regulation behind the case when an employee is tested positive. Yeah,
definitely.
There is a setup of very precise measures and a process milestones. Yeah.
Exactly. As I said, it's the measures. If somebody is positively tested in Austria, is clearly regulated by the officials of Ministry of Health and local health authorities.
Yeah. Florian, coming back to you, what safety measures are in place to allow guests to visit Chambrun Palace nowadays?
Well, actually, we're using the same measures that we used to use to control the large crowds, now to control the smaller crowds with the chances of corona infections. So what we do is we reduce the number of guests that can be inside the palace at the same time. We do this by adapting the time slots we give them for the entrance. We have more time between the individuals, so there is not an entry every, let's say, 30 seconds, but there's an entry every 2 minutes. We reduce the number of maximum capacity of a group. As we heard before, it's now 5+1. It was in the summertime 10+1, 15+1. Now it's 5+1. And we recommend to use our online services, our online ticketing, so people do not have to queue up in front of the front desk to get a ticket. So they get the ticket in advance, they get their time slot in advance. They don't have to line up anywhere. They just go straight through. There is time before them. There's time after them. So we spread up the crowd, make sure no one meets each other, and the rest is basically, as you always do, wear a mask, keep a distance, wash your hands.
Yeah. Okay, so very clear, simple.
Very simple.
Yeah, okay. Question from Hungary for Markus Redl. Until what age are kids obliged to wear mask indoor?
So 6 years and under, they don't have to wear mask.
They don't have to wear mask.
They don't have to wear the mask.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So the next question, please. Could I have it? We are waiting. Question from Romania for Matthias, please. Is there a ski season in Austria, and will guests from Romania be allowed to come?
Yeah, from my point of view, yes, there is a ski season, which starts hopefully end of November if the snow is there. But the snow is not the main problem, I think, this year, because we have good snowmaking capabilities. So we had the last 12 years every time the start of end of November, because enough snow is there. And the regulations for the countries, I'm not sure to respond at the moment, but at the moment there is no restriction, I think. But maybe some other person on the podium knows more about this topic.
No, you're right. No restriction.
Okay.
Yeah, today.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that the same in situation in Lower Austria? Yes, yes, okay. The next question is concerning the issue of ski courses. Will there be ski courses for kids, Matthias? I guess yes.
Yes, there will be ski courses. We have made some regulations that the ski course is safe. That the government has a test program and the hotels will be tested, but also skiing instructors, because the skiing instructors are very close to our customers and guests. The ski lesson groups are getting smaller than the last years to have a better overview. And if you have a situation where we are close together, you have to wear the face mask or the buff, which is good for this situation to fulfill all regulations. And so I would say the ski course is safe. And it's good to take one, because if you have, it's always good to learn about more skiing, to have more fun on the slopes.
Thank you, Matthias. Yeah, Corona app, highly discussed in Austria. We have a Corona app, but Markus Bursche, is the use of the Stop Corona app mandatory?
No, it's not. It's definitely not. But I can recommend using it or downloading it, because it's safe in terms of data security. We internationally proved it, and yeah, it's another tool to prevent infection. So I will recommend. I by myself have it downloaded.
Yeah. Also, the information about the Corona app is on austria.info. Yeah.
Let me maybe say it's invented or implemented from the Red Cross, so it's not a governmental tool, but a private initiative.
Yeah, yeah. Matthias, how long are restaurants opened in Austria at the moment? I think we had that beforehand. It's 10 o'clock by now, today. No? Oh.
1 a.m. In Styria, we have 1 a.m. because the restaurants have different, the closing hours have different rules in the provinces. Salzburg, Tirol, and Vorarlberg has about 10, I would say. And Styria, 1 a.m. It was today, so maybe tomorrow it's different, but at the moment it's 1 a.m.
Guest registration in restaurants.
No, I didn't hear you at the moment. What do you say?
Guest registrations in restaurants.
Okay, guest registrations. I think they are needed in Tyrol, in Salzburg, Upper Austria, and Vienna. And I think all other provinces are working on the systems, because it's a good additional service for the customers and also for the fight against the pandemic. And I would say, I don't know exactly, but I would say that with the beginning of the winter season, every province in Austria will have the guest registration systems in the restaurants, I would say.
Okay. So we are coming to the last 2-3 questions now in our question and answer corner. Florian, for you, is it obligate to wear a mask in Chambrun Palace, I guess?
Yes.
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 Whenever you're inside, so inside the palace, inside the ticket center, when entering the restaurant, so whenever there's a roof above your head, put on a mask.
Yeah, but not in the gardens or the way up to the Gloriette or
no.
Okay. Okay. Markus Redl, a question for you. Difficult to answer. Will there be any ski resorts closed this season?
Not that
in
we
Lower
know.
Austria, yes, Lower Austria.
As far as I know, there have been no announcement made. So I do not know of a single ski resort saying we will not operate this winter. I think there was a misunderstanding with AXA Malizum. It was in the media. They were simply asking a legal question because we are part of the public transport system. We have to operate. It's mandatory for us to operate. And they were asking a legal question. What if? But including AXA Malizum, I don't know of any ski resorts in Austria announcing that they will not operate this winter. But of course, there several hundred ski resorts all over the place, and in each and every winter there are ski resorts not opening because they, for example, they do not have man-made snowmaking facilities and things like that, just smaller resorts close to the cities. But I assume that the larger resorts and the tourism centers will operate as planned.
Okay, and the same in your region, I guess, Matthias.
Yes, definitely. I would say the major skiing resorts are all open regularly, and there's no information, not even any thoughts that they don't open. They're preparing a lot of things. They invest a lot of money for the safety. So we are clear. We stand clear, and we hope to start soon in the winter season.
To go. Another question and that is the final question for today, to Markus Burgscher. Is it possible to undergo a COVID-19 test on site in Austria if a negative test result is required for entry, and under what circumstances is that possible?
If I get the question right, of course you can be tested in Austria. As I said, there are private opportunities as well as officials, it depends on the legal situation in the even in the country where you come from, if it's necessary to have a negative test or not. But as I said before, I recommend everybody to test regularly, because it's the most safe sign in terms of COVID.
Okay. Good. Now we have one last question for Matthias. During the summer season, many accommodations were booked pretty good. Could it be difficult this winter to get an accommodation this winter in some area?
I would definitely recommend to book earlier if you have a specific order. If you like this hotel, if you like this area, then you have to book. And as I said before, we have good and flexible cancellation rules. So there's no risk for you if you book. I would assume that there will be a very big start on December. If the numbers going down and on December it's good again, then a lot of people want to book for Sylvester, for New Year's Eve, for Christmas, for January, for February. And it's good to have your own accommodation you like, because it could be also getting with low capacity. And then it's good to have your booking already done. I would assume that there are specific times they are really good booked. And hopefully for us, it will start soon, that we have a good winter in this year.
Good. So thank you all very much for joining us and answering all the questions we've got in the chat. One thing to close the session is Austrian health system is well equipped. The tourism industry is very well prepared. So hope to see you soon in Austria. And the most important thing is stay healthy.
Let's go.